Right at our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're rolling out today. Looks like we got ourselves an Infiniti QX-60 SUV. Pretty nice looking vehicle. Looks good from the rear too. And they shipped it all the way from Tennessee just for us. So we'll take it to our test facility and take a closer look. The base price is advertised at around $43,000 base, which is a pretty good deal, but this is a deluxe model loaded up with everything, so we'll take a closer look. I'm sure it costs more. The all-wheel drive version starts at $48,000, but as usual, there are lots of options that jack the price up. Starting with the Essential package, $2,900. Rain-sensing windshield wipers, navigation, satellite radio, sensory package, bigger wheels and tires, and all kinds of gadgets on here. Then we go down to the Proactive package. All the warning nannies that some people like, I don't. Theater package. Cargo package. And radiant exterior welcome lighting. Well, we got to have that. That's $445 when you're up this high. Shipping. There you go. Loaded with everything. The QX-60 is powered by a 3.5-liter V6, putting out 295 horsepower, the same basic engine that's been used in Nissan Infiniti vehicles for, I don't know, several decades now. Very proven, extremely reliable, a very good choice. Here's the claimed fuel economy. Pretty good figures if you can get it in the real world. We'll find out soon enough. I put 70 miles on the clock before I started this video, getting 16.4 mpg in city driving. More to come. Oops, 16.2, pardon me. Instead of a regular transmission with gears, it's hooked to a CVT automatic. Not a very good idea in a luxury car. I'll explain why later on in the video. That would explain why there are no paddle shifters on the steering wheel. Most vehicles with the CVT don't have that. These are nice looking headlights, so let's take them out in the dark and see how they perform, and we'll do that right now. It's dark enough, we'll take these lights out, see what they do. We have the low beams, only building 100 feet away, very bright. Bright height about average. Go to high beam. Very bright in the middle. Here we have the brights, only building 300 feet away. Good spread, good height, good brightness. Low beam. Bright, but doesn't reach out. Let's say about 240 feet. Low beam is great for city driving, backcountry roads. You'll need the brights, which work very well, by the way. I would think for the money we're spending, we would get headlights that turn with the steering wheel, but apparently that's not the case here. Here's what the interior looks like at night. Lights up pretty good. Not the best quality camera on the planet, but you can get the idea. With a high-priced luxury vehicle, we expect a nice-looking cabin, so we'll jump inside and see what we've got here. The leather used in here is very nice, as well as other materials and workmanship. There's room for 3 in the second row seating. They can be folded out of the way to make room for the third row passengers. You fit 2 more back there. And these seats fold down too for more room. According to the spec sheet I read, there are 16 cubic feet of space behind the third row seats. 40 cubic feet if you put the third row down. And a whopping 76 cubic feet of storage if you put all the seats down. That is the third and second row. Obviously not the front row, you couldn't drive the vehicle, right? The good news, there is a spare tire, but you'll have to crawl underneath in the mud and dirt to get it. So I certainly hope I don't get a flat today, because it's raining and it's muddy out. This is part of the rear entertainment system, the headphones and the screen on the back for entertaining the kiddies or grandpa. I'm glad to see we get a large glove box, and I mean large, huge. In fact, the owner's manual is way back there. No complaints here. According to Infiniti, this is real wood. Although nowadays it's hard to tell from plastic, so why bother? But at least you know it's real along with the leather. The gauge cluster is a very nice design, and I'm glad to see I didn't get many reflections off the plastic cover, as we do in other vehicles with plastic covers. Since it's been a while since I've had an Infiniti product, I thought I'd get on YouTube and other media outlets to see what other testers had to say about the QX-60. And the number one complaint, according to them, was the so-called outdated interior. And why was the interior outdated, they said? Because of all the buttons you have to press to get some functions going. Like so. Let me just be clear. If having buttons is outdated, sign me up. Give me outdated every time. When I want a function, I want to press a button. Audio, map, navigation, apps, settings. If I want air-conditioned seats or heated seats, I want a button. If I want a sport mode or eco, I want a button. Things I can reach without taking my eyes off the road. I do not want to scroll through some computer screen for some simple task like setting the climate or heated seats or other radio functions. This is good. Outdated or not, this is what I want. Which brings us to the climate system. Just press the magic button, turn on auto, temperature here, fan speed here. Again, simple buttons and switches. The bottom line, I went through this cabin with a fine-tooth comb looking for something to complain about, and I can't find anything to bitch about. So, total thumbs up for me. As far as these guys bitching about buttons, well, they're just being stupid. That's my opinion. This includes the first half of the video, show and tell. The second half of the video, we're going to go out and do some driving, get some fuel economy figures, and if the weather permits, take this off-road. Hey, it's an SUV. It's an SUV. It has the ability to go off-road, right? Another feature that helps off-road is all-wheel drive, but it's also helping on these slick city streets, giving us four-wheel drive traction. When you start the QX, this is what you're going to see. First, the Infiniti emblem. Then a warning telling you that the car is spying on you and transmitting all the information to Nissan. I'm told there's a way to disconnect that. Then the navigation. Then I have to press the audio button to get my radio stations. Come on, radio stations. There we go. No, we can't hear music. YouTube gets mad and wants to demonetize me for copyright infringement. The power steering is obviously electric. Feels it, and I use the word feel rather liberally because this really doesn't have any feel or feedback. And it's way too light, but eventually you get used to it. I think the typical soccer mom who buys this isn't going to care either way. So I'm not going to gripe about the power steering too much. For most buyers it will do, I guess. I rarely take cars on the turning circle in wet weather, but this SUV has all-wheel drive for better traction, so let's see if we can spin it out. Well, it's sticking to the road pretty good. Before we do our 0 to 60 test, let's cover the CVT automatic transmission here compared to a regular transmission, for those of you who don't know the difference. A regular transmission has gears, maybe 6, 7, 8, even up to 10 nowadays. The CVT is just one continuous gear. I like to call it the rubber band transmission. The main advantage, you get maybe 5% increase in fuel economy. The disadvantage, the performance kind of goes down the tubes. That's why they're primarily on little tiny 4-cylinder cars. You get maybe 1 or 2 mpg to meet the idiotic government cafe fuel economy standards, which shouldn't exist, but that's a different video. In any case, it's extremely rare to find a CVT transmission on a luxury vehicle. Especially with a heavy weight and big engine like this, the fuel economy gain really isn't there in the real world. It doesn't help performance much. So why did Infiniti do it? Well, because they use them in most of their Nissans, and they own the company that makes the transmission, so I guess it's good business. But it's performance that counts, so let's see, we don't want snow or eco or normal. Let's put it in sport. Alright, let's do it. The engine's willing, that's for sure. Once it gets moving. Quick enough. Good enough. I'd still rather have an 8-speed transmission rather than the CVT, but this is what we get. And once again, I think about 90% of people who buy this aren't going to know the difference between a CVT and regular transmission. Will be dissatisfied with this vehicle the way it is. They do their marketing research. They know these things. I wanted to see what the maximum fuel economy is on this beast. So we're going to take a highway trip, approximately 100 miles. We can get through this fog and not get killed. So stay tuned, don't go away. Fog in the desert. Really? If you take lots of long highway trips, this might be the vehicle for you. Smooth, quiet, and comfortable. No complaints here. Except for this guy who's trying to ruin our day. We're coming to the end of our trip. We're going to pull over and see what the fuel economy reading is. Now here we go. 21.8 mpg at 114 miles. We were doing 75 miles per hour on the freeway, but the average dropped to 67 because we came into town. If that means anything to you. I was trying to beat the 22 mpg mark, but didn't quite make it. We're going to take a return trip. Maybe we'll get lucky and get some higher MPG figures. We'll know soon enough. Well, return trip is over. Let's take a peek. Well, 120 miles. We did slightly better on the return trip, 23.0. I think that's the best we're going to see. So the question is, can this be taken off-road? Well, we do have the ground clearance. And we do have all-wheel drive for good traction. We do lose some ground clearance with this front air dam. We're going to take this off-road, but maybe not right now. I don't think Infiniti wants to get a phone call saying their vehicle sunk into a mud pit and went all the way to China. We'll have to try somewhere else. Okay, looks like the rain washed away most of the roads, so we're going to have to just take this trail here. And that's the only four-wheeling we're going to be able to do. It's just too muddy out here. Also some quicksand patches I don't want to get stuck in. Because they're picking up the car tomorrow morning. They want it my driveway, not out here in the middle of nowhere. This all-wheel drive system is doing a pretty good job of getting traction in this loose sand, though. No complaints there. So what's my take on this Infiniti after a week of driving? I think they're trying to be a vehicle for all uses. And they did a pretty good job of doing so. If you're looking for a daily commuter that can hold up to 7 passengers, they can do that. If you're looking for a luxury vehicle, you can take down to the country club, park next to the fancy European stuff, it'll fit right in. And if you're looking for an SUV to go off-road, well, we did it. But then again, we had the all-wheel drive version. Two-wheel drive, you might want to stay on the pavement a bit more than the dirt. I was rather taken back by the high price tag. A lot of options on this, but if you can afford an Infiniti, you can probably afford one loaded up with everything. If not, you can spend like 43 grand, get one without all the goodies. Your choice. We're pretty close to a trap and skeet club. I got shotgun shells flying over my head, so it's time to get out of here and wrap up this video. So, in the meantime, here's some links to other luxury SUVs we've driven. Just click on the link, watch, and subscribe. I need the gas money.